Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's story is the first in a long list of scary, Christmassy themed horror stories and tales that I hope you guys are going to enjoy. Please, of course, do like and share. And above all, guys, please, down below, let me know whereabouts in the world you're listening and what you're doing for Christmas and who you're spending it with. Without further ado, let's get into tonight's story, entitled Blood on the Snow. Let's get straight into that. There is a legend amongst my people. When the snow falls, it paves the way for him to come. The earliest stories told of how he came across a frozen sea, his land parched and broke, not even the weeds survive. We don't know why he chose my people, but the first time he came, he made us understand terror. You know his name, even if you do not realise whom I speak of. You know him like you know your brother or sister, although I will not say the name. To call it is to invite him, and that is something I will never do, because when he comes, and he always does, he takes a part of your soul. My grandfather's chieftain was the first to see him. That year the snow had fallen unusually heavy, and the wind had picked up too. His chieftain stepped out into the cold, his fur tight around his pointed face. The blizzard was strong. Sure, he had seen snow before, but never with such ferociousness. Something had been attacking the cattle for days, leaving signs for my people to follow. The chieftain did not know what it was. If it was a wolf or bear, he would have known. But this thing didn't leave the mutilated carcass of its prey like an animal would. When it struck, it left only a stain of crimson blood on the virgin snow, and it always left the head. A few days later, the chieftain gathered a band of workers and armed with sticks and hammers. He'd led them in a hunt. Through the dense candy tree, they sought the thing, past purple rivers, over mountains of white, until they found the cause of the missing livestock. 6 grotesque horned beasts churned the earth, snorting plumps of white clouds into the frigid air, and between the demons sat the only one my chieftain sought, lips thick with grease from the fat of the animal he had stolen. My people watched as he stripped the skin and flesh from the bone. His belly grew fatter every minute until they thought that it must burst, but it did not. He threw the bones into a fire at his feet and swept beady blood-red eyes toward the trees where they squatted. It was then that the chieftain got a look at this giant. Matted, unkempt hair as white as the snow fell from his face in rivulets, the grease from the kill staining them red. Thick furs of brown and white hunkered his shoulders, making them uber long and abnormal. Short, squat legs held his bulbous body as he turned back to the fire. His demonic animals must have scented them as one by one they lifted their snorts and sniffed the air. The chieftain dug a hole in the side of the mountain and wedged his body inside. His men followed before the animals came near. If it hadn't been for the chieftain's quick thinking, they would have been discovered. But as it was, the animals searched the snow, digging their sharp horns into the powder. Each powerful stroke removed the snow in puffs of white. They bayed and screamed in the failing light. Blood poured from their noses, the sharp earth cut at the tissue. Soon, each of their snouts was covered with their blood, and they licked at it greedily. Even still, they did not find my people. After soon time they emerged to find their giant was gone, along with his demon cattle. They found the tracks and was relieved to see that they led away from the hobble of shacks that made up the village. Breathing a sigh of relief, they started to return, only to find that he had somehow been through. The shacks burnt as the stars came out. Red and orange glistened against the pearly snow as the greens and the yellow magic danced through the night skies, while the bodies of my people were laid bare before them. Men and women had been stripped and staked. Their terror-filled faces screamed silently into the night as the pointed bits of wood thrust accusingly at the sky. He had taken the children. Although there were no signs of blood, it still chilled the chieftain to the bone. None survived that year, apart from the hunting party. My chieftain moved what was left of my people and with fortune found a wandering tribe. Our lines grew strong once more, until the snow fell again. Our chieftain told the new chieftain of the danger of the snow, but he did not heed his warning. The few who did were ready when the blizzard came in. The wind picked up to a frenzy and the snow blasted the fabric of the tents like heralds banging drums to his arrival. The wind brought the screams of his demons first. It made ice cutting through our hearts at the sound of pain and torture overpowered by the wind. Something new also assaulted us, and my people came out to see where the ringing bells came from. It was too late. The demons swept through the tents, piercing my people with their sharp horns. Blood laid the new snow red. My people, disorientated and scared, turned to despair. Again he stole the children and slaughtered the rest. Only a handful survived. My grandfather was one. Every time the snow fell, he came and took our children and killed most of our tribes. It's believed he needs our belief in him to sustain his life force, and our fear of him keeps him alive. We came to call him Claus because he snatches our children. We didn't know why he took them, not until one of them escaped. When she could finally talk, the reality was more terrorizing than our imaginations. She and many others had managed to escape because he had learned of a better way to spread his belief. Fear was good at sustaining his life, but love was even better. And he found that love from you, humans. When the snow fell again, we expected him to come, but he didn't. The next year was the same. We started to relax and thought that he had forgotten about us. Life began to return to normal. But when the snow fell the next year, he came again. This time he ensnared all of us. The children had been let go so he could find his way to all the tribes. The ones that fought died in the snow, while the other, like myself, was pulled in cages from our land. His demon cattle dragged us across the snow for miles until we came to his home. Claus left us in cages while he made us his deal. We cowered together as he charged some of our children over a fire to make his point. The skin puckered and spat as the mothers and children screamed. Some of the fathers outraged spoke out against Claus, and they were dragged from the cages and flayed, the skin pulled from the bodies in front of our very eyes. We had no option but to do his bidding. We've been building him things to keep you humans for generations. Every so often Claus will sacrifice one of us to keep us in line, but every year, when the snow falls, he goes in search of more of my kind to swell his ranks. Claus follows the snow and spreader his infection far and wide. He only eats our children when he is in sparse, now because he has found a new taste for human children that satisfies him more. Over time, you humans have come to love him, and he is stronger than ever before. Every time the snow falls, he brings you gifts and leaves with a few of your children. A small price to pay for the happiness he brings you. While you celebrate, he eats your young. We have learnt that you had a person much like this eons ago, one you called Satan. Claus is much like him, and we adopted the name in the hope that you would understand what he truly is. We brandished the toys with his new name, Satan Claus. But he found out and twisted it in to suit him better. And now, instead of our warning, is a tiered term of endearment. When the weather turns cold and the snow falls, remember that we warned you. Remember what I have told you now. Beware Santa Claus. Wow, hope you guys enjoyed that festive themed story there. I kind of struggled to find them scary at times, but I did like that one personally. Please do let me know down below in the comments section what you thought also. Of course, please do like and share. And remember guys, have a fantastic Christmas and a happy new year. And above all, be safe, not sorry.